Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Leederville Oval for our game of the day between West Perth and South Fremantle. West Perth are 8th on the ladder. It's been a very lean season for them, playing South Fremantle, who are second and challenging for top place on the premiership table. West Perth have won the toss. Paul Mifka tossing for them this afternoon, and they have elected to kick to the southern or Vincent Street end of the ground, kicking into a light breeze in this first quarter. Nelson in ruck, opposed by Irving. Chance in there for West Perth, but it's taken away comfortably by Collins, who drives inside the 50-metre line, storming down to meet the ball, the South Fremantle forwards, and that's Campbell, I think, on the bottom of all that. No, it's not. Yes, it's Dunstan, I'm sorry. And Dunstan has been awarded the free kick. As you can see, his West Perth opponent coming right across his shoulder. And Dunstan, who's making a name for himself as something of a goal scorer, has the first shot on goal in the opening seconds of the game. But he's missed to the right. Nevertheless, the first score of the game to South sits a behind. And the manner in which they got that ball out of the centre, Noel, is something that West Perth are going to have to be wary of.
Yes, it was a good clear knockout, and Collins has been a tremendous player across the centre line for him this year, and he looks like he's going to continue on today.
So the kick into play comes up towards the half-back line, and West, who's been a star for West Perth this season, takes the mark and plays on quickly to Mifka. Now West Perth using the ball astutely as they get it down towards the forward line. It eluded the intended target, Edwards. South bring it out of defence, but the kick from Fremantle ill-directed. And it will be a free kick to West Perth, the ball going out of play on the full. Mifka plays on quickly. Campbell getting to him late. He goes down in the direction of Freeman, but chipping in in front of Freeman is Grant, and he's taken the mark.
He ran right across in front of him then, Freeman.
Grant from left full back with the chance to relieve the pressure. Herneman was offering a short lead. He's ignored that and drives it around the member's wing. Nelson is there with him as Irving. Nelson with his hand to it. Campbell's hand pass has gone astray and it's stolen away by Simmons. He kicks back towards half forward. Zemplis not able to take the mark. In comes Buick and with him Collard. Zemplis again gets the hand pass back towards the 50-metre line. Freeman crashes into the pack, but the South's defence stands firm as the hand pass goes from Santos Stefano to Mazurek. The kick to half forward. Jerkowicz showed good ball control, puts it out in front of Curley. It sat for him nicely. He tried to elude Irving, wasn't able to do that. Still West Perth with a chance. Harris gets it to Simmons, in turn to West, who kicks hurriedly towards full forward. But again, the kick ill-directed and Grant takes the relieving mark. He puts it out wide to Brad Collard. Collard had time. He in turn goes down towards Williams. Williams recovering his feet very quickly, but was beaten for possession. This is Jerkowicz. Jerkowicz from centre wing into centre half forward. The kick ill-directed. And a comfortable mark taken in defence by Cliff Collard.
Wally, this game's opened up at a tremendous pace, and South are working hard to match it with West Perth at this stage.
Comments from Noel Carter as Firmino drives over the centre line towards half forward. Back goes Jerkowicz. He's a superb aerialist and a real athlete. Away he goes. Not too many leads on offer. He chips the ball to centre half forward. Crashing over the top of Edwards was Atkins. South's with the numbers in the centre of the ground. Collins emerges with it again, using that preferred left foot down towards half forward. Good spoil from behind by the West Perth defence. It's close to the line. Flutie kept it in. Was then brilliantly tackled by Painter. Pretty solid stuff out there, and West Perth do well to tie it up in a pack on the half back line. Some rugged exchanges.
Here's the effort by Flugie to keep the ball into play. Now he was very lucky to avoid that pretty aggressive tackle from Bartlett, and now we've got a throw down.
This is Campbell. He was under pressure. It favours Hines. He was caught and is penalised for holding the ball. The free kick will go to Tuvey. Now this fella's an improving footballer, Noel.
Yes, he is, Wally. He's really picked up his ratings as the season's gone on, and West Perth will be looking for him for a good game today.
Zemplis got his hand to that ball at the back of the pack and forces it across the line.
We saw Jerkowicz come into the play a couple of times. He's playing at centre half back today and marking David Hines, so that'll be an interesting tussle, Wally.
Well, Jerkowicz, of course, has been a key forward for West Perth since joining them this season. Nelson with a prodigious knock, but went straight to Collins. This is Hines to Nelson, who knocked it on cleverly to Del Varello, and Harris provides good support. The pass goes towards centre half forward. It went straight through Edwards' hands. Another chance for West Perth. It's picked up for them down there by Ivulich, and his kick is a good one. It finds Freeman. So West Perth, who have started this game in very enterprising fashion, have the opportunity now to kick their first score of the game. South Fremantle are behind. West Perth yet to score, and 5 minutes have elapsed in this first quarter. Freeman from about 45 metres, perhaps a little further out than that. It's a good kick, a very good kick from Freeman. And West Perth are in front. They're 1 goal straight. Souths are 1 behind.
Well, it's been a fairly tough opening 5 minutes, and West Perth have had most of the ball, and here we see them use that ball into that forward line. Freeman on a good lead, took a comfortable mark and was able to kick a good goal. And I think, Wally, we were discussing earlier, if anything, West Perth may be kicking into a slight breeze, but not not much significance in that breeze, but if there was a breeze, maybe they're going into it.
In fact, almost ideal conditions for football. The light cloud cover, so the sun's not a factor. As Noel Carter has indicated, the breeze is of minimal strength, and the ground in perfect condition as Souths take it out of the centre again through Collins. It's chopped off by Mifka. West Perth playing a lot of their more talented players in defence this afternoon. Players like Jerkowicz. This is Clancy against his old side. Jerkowicz and Mifka. And Edwards takes a very good mark in opposition to Bolton. So it'll be a case, I guess, with those good players in defence today of whether or not West Perth can kick enough goals to win. They're certainly giving plenty of cheek in the opening moments. There goes Edwards' kick towards the goal line. Atkins is up there and he knocks it through. Marty Atkins, who made his debut for Western Australia earlier this season and being stood today by Zemplis. Santo Stefano breaks into the pocket, but that's been ignored. Grant goes straight down the centre of the ground. Atkins is the target, and Atkins takes the mark. He's physically stronger than Zemplis, still a developing player, Basil Zemplis, but Zemplis has superior height, or is taller, as the kick from Atkins goes to centre half forward. And I really enjoy watching Jerkowicz play as long as he remains disciplined. He is a very talented athlete, gets the hand pass away to West. West drives towards centre half forward, an ill-directed kick, and a comfortable mark taken by Herneman. Now, South's players are breaking to the outer side of the ground. Matera was one of them. Williams streams onto the half-forward line. Collard has the ball. He'll look ahead and goes beyond Williams. The lead was coming from the pocket.
Dunstan.
He wasn't able to take it. Williams on the bottom of the pack. Harris in on top of him. Dunstan comes back strongly, and we're going to have a bounce on that 50-metre line.
That's one thing West Perth will have to watch, Wally. It's all very well to push into attack and all run forward, but as soon as the play's turned over, they must get back quickly, because those South clever players will get out there on their own, make space, and then they'll create havoc into the forward line.
Campbell with a good hand pass to Santo Stefano, who goes towards goal. That's not a very good kick from Joe. He should have done better. I think he was a little undecided.
He was in two minds, and that's where the ball went, in between the goals and Craig Edwards, who was on the lead.
So a throw in at left full forward for South. West Perth 1 goal straight. South Fremantle 1 behind. Edwards in front. Wosley up over the top. Chance for Campbell. He wasn't concentrating on the ball. Mifka picks it up, and Nelson has camped out on his own in the opposite pocket. And Craig has the chance to have a run. As Williams left Curley, that created the loose man. Now they can go again to Edwards, and in turn they can go to Buick, but they need to go quickly. Edwards breaks the tackle, sends a raking hand pass, ill-directed. That set Zemplis up, and it also gave Atkins the chance to come across and intercept that West Perth move.
Inexperienced play there, but certainly a good build-up. The other pleasing thing about it, you won't see it all across the screen, was each South Fremantle backman left their man and went forward to put pressure on. So by not running back with their men, at least they go and put pressure on, and that's probably what happened to young Edwards. He'd seen this other player coming at him and has decided to go for that handball rather than get a kick into the forward line. Well,
it meant that the loose man was in fact about 2 kicks further up the ground, didn't it? And West Perth just weren't able to capitalise on the chain reaction that they had created.
Well, for years and years, Wally, while I've played football anyway, that was always what our coaches instructed us. It was hard to get some of the players to leave, backmen to leave their forwards, because they were a selfish type of backman. But if everyone left and it all worked, in essence, everyone all around the ground should move up one line. But it worked well for South on that occasion.
Well, now South had the chance to mount an attack of their own, but Mazurek got an unkind bounce, and as a result, West Perth regained possession as Simmons gets it to Nelson, and Nelson drives to half forward. Good mark, not paid. I think it was Herneman who let go of it at the last moment. and South can come out of defence again. Atkins has it now, sends a raking hand pass out to Herneman at right half back. He looks towards the centre line, then kicked into Clancy, a former, well, perhaps he wasn't a teammate. Herneman being a first-year player. The kick from Mazurek is a shocker, goes to half forward, went straight through Jukowic's hands. Campbell wasn't able to pick it up, and he's infringed. He pulled his West Perth opponent off the ball, and Mifka gets the resulting free kick. He usually uses the ball well, and Jukovic is going to provide run from half-back, there's no doubt about that. He kicks to centre half forward, and Atkins, who has started well this afternoon, pulls down another good mark. Cliff Collard sends it wide and finds Santa Stefano.
In this first 10 minutes, Wally, it's been a game of the centre half-backs. Marty Atkins for South and Jukowicz for West Perth have both performed very well for their sides in the first 10 minutes of this quarter, as South find a bit of space, and Herneman's coming into the game now from after a spell being injured.
Herneman's kick towards half forward, and a very courageous mark taken by Paul Mifka. He was going back into the unknown, stood his ground and took a good mark. Jukowicz got his hand to that now. West Perth have the numbers 2-1. Jukowicz has infringed. Flugie plays on quickly. He gets it to Matera, but for some reason Souths have to come back and take the kick again. Not sure why there, because Flugie was the player who was infringed, and he played on from the spot where the incident occurred. A let-off for West Perth as Flugie kicks in towards full forward. Edwards out in front. Now that wasn't good defensive work by Nelson, probably. Wasley was coming out with Edwards from behind. They needed someone to go in front.
Well, the big ruckman's job is to prop in front of those forwards, and let's see how Craig Edwards can attack this goal.
This is South's first goal. If he gets it, it's pretty close. The umpire's coming back the right direction. It's a goal. Souths are in front at the 11-minute mark of the first quarter. They're 1-1. Sorry, scores a level. West Perth 1-1 also.
Well, here we see from the Flugie free kick that he was able to push that ball long into the forward line. Now Edwards in front, where all the good forwards should be, and we've commented on this bloke being behind and in front in previous weeks, but this time he was in the right position and was able to steer through South's first goal, which they've struggled to get in the first 12 minutes. And it's been hard. West Perth have put a lot of pressure on them. They've run hard. They've tried to use the ball, and they're playing their shots at this stage, and they're making it hard for South. But South continue to dominate and get the ball out of the centre, which is a great bonus in football these days.
Flugie again has his kick smothered. It ricochets towards Clancy. He didn't get the bounce he needed, and so South will take it away again through Collins. He was finessing, tried to keep the ball low so it would get under the oncoming tacklers. Running onto it is Dunstan. He's gone without it. Hines is backing him up. He gets it to Mazurek, who tried to tap it down to Matera, but Tuvey read that well. He's taken too long. He's holding the ball.
He read the play like he wrote the book, Wally, but it was a little bit... Hines got onto him a little bit quicker than he'd hoped, but he really... I'm sure...
The book was one chapter short, wasn't it?
It was. But I'm sure it was the call was from Wally Matera, but Tuvey was good enough to scoot in behind and steal it from him.
So Hines will take a shot at goal from just inside 50 metres. South just slowly but surely resting the ascendancy from West Perth. That's a good kick from Hines. He just sneaked it through. They've got their second goal in as many minutes, and now they're in front. South's at 2-1, West Perth are 1-1.
Well, that play came about by a good tackle from David Hines, and he's been well held by Jukowicz in this first quarter, and that's probably his second touch for the quarter, but he'd be relieved to get that, to be able to score that goal, and South would be relieved also that they might be able to break away from this West Perth side that's really having a real strong, hard go today, and obviously they're looking to continue on from their performance last week against Swans. They got beaten in the time-on period in the last quarter, and I guess they're trying to shape the 4 or the 5 for the WAFL, and they want to have their say. But Nelson's doing a real good job early.
The centre square infringement at that bounce down gives West Perth first possession. The kick goes towards half forward. The leaper down there was Bolton. That means there's a spare West Perth player on the ground, but they're not able to capitalise as Brad Collard sends it wide. Williams has the ball knocked away. West runs onto it and picks it up brilliantly. Got himself into all sorts of trouble, though. He's still got possession. He did that very well. And the short pass goes down towards the half-forward line, but it was ill-directed. And the ball now out of play at left half-forward. West Perth in attack. Irving is 27. Being opposed by Zemplis, number 1. Zemplis doing well at that boundary throw-in. Flugie has it. As we welcome viewers around Western Australia to our game of the day from Leederville Oval. This is 2nd versus 8th. South Fremantle playing West Perth. South's, of course, 2nd on the ladder and challenging for the position at the top of the premiership table. At the moment, South's lead. It's 2-1 to 1-1, but it's been a very enterprising start by the Falcons. They've taken this game right up to West Perth in the first half of this first quarter. With me in commentary this afternoon, Noel Carter. Trevor Jenkins away on Olympic duties in Sydney, as West Perth knocked the ball towards the centre line, but it's chopped off by Brad Collard. He drives it back from whence it came. Nelson has camped under it, and he takes a comfortable mark. But a good start to this game,
Yes, a great start by West Perth. Even though they're behind on the scoreboard, they've run and chased and really put the pressure on South. And South would be a little bit surprised at the way that West Perth have come out of the blocks and put some pressure on them. And they're just starting to work into the game now. They've had a couple of players quite early. This guy, Collins, has been in everything early, and he's one of the players that has driven that ball out the centre on numerous occasions for South. But West Perth with Djukowicz playing very well at centre half back, and Robbie West being dominant through the centre, really in this game at the moment.
Well, we're watching Dunstan now line up from about 45 metres, perhaps slightly further out from that than that. But he should be able to score from here because Souths have the aid of a light breeze. Nelson in front of the pack should soccer it on. It's knocked away by Campbell. He's very clever in front of goals, but he's given away more kicks than he's had in this first quarter. And Clancy, a former South Fremantle player, will take the kick and a 50-metre penalty. So that will take Clancy right up into the centre square, and young Warren Campbell is going to have a think about his behaviour, his discipline.
Well, yes, I guess he's keen, he's young, but he's got a good football brain, and he shouldn't be making those sort of mistakes. And I guess he's keen to do well. He's equal in the goal-kicking award, and I guess he'd like to be able to kick 2 or 3 goals today and keep the pressure on, and maybe give himself a chance of setting up a finish as #1 goal kicker in the league this year. But yes, he's got to curb that little bit of brilliance he's got.
There goes the kick from Dunstan towards half forward, but Tuvey has taken the mark. He wants to go because West is loose. West at left half back. He's had a good season, Robbie West. Many would think that he probably has deserved more opportunities at the next level. The ball close to the boundary line. That's Williams. I thought it was going to go out. He gets a good hand pass away, and Souths clear the ball back into the centre of the ground. Mazurek has it. He goes by hands to Collins, who's cutting West Perth to ribbons at the moment. He drives down towards full forward, and Edwards has taken a good mark in opposition to Wasley. He's going to be a handful for that player this afternoon, that's obvious.
His experience is going to tell there. You see he was sitting under that ball, Craig Edwards taking that mark, and young Wasley, didn't try and hit his arms, which he should have done. He went for the ball, and Craig was able to bring the mark in.
This will be second if he gets it. And he's starting to push up the goal-kicking ladder now. He's got 35. He started the day 5 behind the leaders. And Souths get their third. They're 3-1. West Perth a 1-1. West Perth need to get some value for effort, Noel, or they'll start to lose heart.
Yes, well, what's happened so far is with West and Djukowicz being so dominant, they've pushed the ball forward, and they've got pretty good results, but it's been... Fremantle kicked their first goal at the 5-minute mark of the quarter. Now we've gone another 15 minutes, and they haven't got a lot of value. They keep pushing it forward, and as you said, Wally, the young fellas can lose a bit of heart, and the old guys will start to drop their head if they can't get a bit more better result as they go forward. But they've got to win the ball out of the centre for a start. Well,
Zemplis is at centre half forward for West Perth. Position often held by Freeman. Djukowicz, the normal full forward, is down in defence. Mifka, a centre line player, back in defence. So they've put all their eggs in the one basket, so to speak, this afternoon, West Perth. They've put a lot of their talented players back in the back line as Hines took the ball cleverly off the pack. He's got another chance here. He's only 40 metres out. Hooks back on goal. Wasley's camped under it. With him is Edwards. And Edwards just a little too talented and a little too strong down there at the moment for young Wasley. And he has the chance from about 3 or 4 metres out, that's where the man on the mark is, of kicking his third and his team's 4th goal. I think he might have missed. Scored a behind, but only just, judging by the movement of the 2 umpires.
Well, he'd be disappointed in that because he didn't kick through the ball. He tried to steer it through or poke it through, and it doesn't work like that. In that position, he should have kicked through it, but he's certainly going to cause some problems down there. And we just talked about how they've got some of their brilliant forwards in the back line. I don't think they've got any more to go back there, Wally, West Perth.
No, well, that's The problem now, of course, is whether or not they'll be able to kick a winning score if they get their share of the ball. Mifka takes a good mark and gets it to West, who took too long. This is Edwards. Edwards goes to West. That's brilliant football, West Perth. West will shoot from 50 metres and has kicked the goal. And you won't see many better team goals than that during the course of this season. That was a brilliant build-up by West Perth after Craig Edwards missed what he should have kicked at the opposite end. West Perth monopolised the ball through the centre of the ground, and it's produced their second goal.
Well, what great play it was by West. He was put under the hammer by Dunstan, and then was able to recover, get that ball onto Edwards. Edwards shot him the perfect 1-2 back, and he kicked a magnificent goal, and a goal that should lift this West Perth side. We mentioned 2 or 3 times already that Djokovic and West have pushed that ball forward, and they must get maximum results from that push. And there they did it all this. Robbie West did it himself, but what a great player he's been over the season, and let's hope that West Perth players can build on their game around him today.
Tuvey gets the clearing kick out of the centre for West Perth. Atkins leads in the race for the ball, and he has Fimino in support. Edwards is off after him. Across comes Zemplis to challenge Fimino, but he wasn't close enough, and the kick goes to half forward. Chance at the back of the pack for Matera. Good support from Flugie. Gee, he's quick.
He should go all the way.
He's 45 metres out and closing. What a kick. It's not quite good enough, though. It actually hit the behind post, but given the angle from which he was kicking, it was a very good effort.
He probably could have kept going while in and run right in.
Well, he ran away from his opponent while he was bouncing the ball. It's 3-2 to 2-1, 21 minutes gone in the first quarter. Throw in at left full forward for South Fremantle. Wosley is there. He gets it down to Harris. That was good football, good ruck work, but that's not a good kick from Harris. Collard misjudged it. Brother Cliff is there. He backhands it in the direction of Brad. Good tackle. That was Simmons, who came across and claimed Collard. Collard just trying to do a little too much.
I think there was a bit of brotherly love there. I think they were trying to look after one another, Wally.
Help each other out with the stats. Irving gets front position. Nelson over the top. Chance in there for Del Borello. Now Harris has it. He went the wrong way. Mazurek saw him coming. Del Borello again. Towards half forward. Cliff Collard in from the side. But there's a free kick going West Perth's way that was paid to Clancy, but Buick's allowed to play on. Spears the pass in towards full forward. Freeman, can this be his second? No, he's missed.
Well, he probably had a little bit more time. He could have steadied a little bit more there, Wally, and maybe made South pay for that. A couple of misses there. Bolton came out and didn't trap the ball in front of him, didn't bring it with him. And South almost had to pay for what wasn't good defence in the end.
South's lead by 6 points, and that was a good mark by Herneman.
Yeah, it was a very good mark. And,
he would have been put off by Clancy's big leap.
Yeah, South missed him over the last. I know that they've been winning, but they have missed his steadying influence across that centre and half-back line. He's a very good player, Herneman. Del
Borello by hand towards West. West has support from Simmons. Simmons looks to half forward and Freeman. West Perth are starting to put it together ahead of the centre line.
Well, they always look good when West's on at the start of their play, and he's real linchpin. He's setting this play up for West Perth now. They've got to do something and try and reward him for his effort. They're
kicking into the breeze in this first term. It's of no great consequence. Freeman kicked the first goal for West Perth, and he kicked it from a little closer in than this. That's going to come back the other way. It's a very tricky kick and a great mark taken by Zemplis. Well, he's a very tall player.
While you're talking about him taking that great mark, I see Freeman throwing a bit of grass in the air to check which way the breeze is blowing now.
Well, that came back the wrong way, didn't it? And Zemplis has kicked the goal that ties the game up. It's 3 goals to apiece. 23 minutes gone in the first quarter at Leederville Oval, and West Perth are playing with terrific spirit during this first quarter. If they can sustain it, we're in for a great game.
Yeah, well, there Marty Atkins giving Zemplis too much. Marty Atkins going up with one hand, Zemplis both hands on the ball and took a good mark and kicked a good goal, and that makes the game pretty well tied up. And what we've got now is we've got Zemplis has moved to a forward pocket, where he started at centre-half back, and they brought young Edwards out to centre-half forward, and that hasn't been a bad move. We saw him on the end of that handball to Robbie West when he kicked that goal before, and he was involved there, and Zemplis has gone to the pocket and took that good grab and kicked the goal. So good Jeff Gieschen moving his players around in the forward line, trying to find an answer, and at this stage some of his moves are working quite well.
Taken by Del Borello, tried to crash through the pack, was taken high. Well, he was perhaps a little bit lucky. West wanted to play on. Lucky, I say, because he didn't get rid of the ball when he could have initially. He's been given the benefit of the doubt. The kick goes towards Freeman, but standing his ground at the back is Grant, and he takes a very comfortable mark. Cliff Collard is there. They'll try and create a loose man. They've been able to do that, and Herneman takes the mark. He's still behind the centre line. Kicks high to centre half forward. Del Borello has to go.
Good run down there by Mazarek.
In comes Dukowicz. Cutting across in front was Harris. He gets it to Simmons, who's been prominent. He's fighting back against Collins. Del Borello's hand pass goes to West, and West is really getting into the game. Dukowicz is up from centre half back, taken by Edwards, I think it was, but he was caught. It wasn't, it was Curley, I'm sorry. This is Matera. West got to him, but too late. The kick goes towards half forward, and I thought that was out. Yes, that's a good boundary umpire's decision. Playing on quickly with the ball was Painter with a hand pass. Del Borello now kicks in towards the centre of the ground. Chance at the back for Herneman. Knocks it on to Fimino. He's called for a throw.
Now, I can't understand how that's a throw. If he slapped it out with his... well.
Seemed to be a clean hit, didn't it? He may have had an open palm. That doesn't necessarily constitute
how's a rougher palm the ball with an open palm? It's the same sort of thing. It was an up and under, not an up and over.
Here's Buick, but he lost control of the ball at the crucial moment. The boundary umpire did well. He was about to blow his whistle and realised that Collard hadn't taken the ball out. Quick thinking as Matera sends it back into the centre of the ground, and here's Herneman again. He's causing some problems across that half back line for West Perth. He kicks towards centre half forward. Good mark.
He's causing some problems for the south forwards, Herneman, because he isn't kicking well to position at this stage, and to find two West Perth and one South players there wasn't good play at all.
Poor kick from West. Freeman was 2 or 3 metres in front of Grant, and a good pass then would have set up another scoring opportunity. That wasn't to be. Brad Collard storms out of defence for Souths. He goes by hand towards Fimino. Fimino kicks inside 50 metres. The lead is from Campbell. It's the first time he's been able to break away from his opponent, who was initially Mifka, but now it's Ivulich. Campbell lining up from about, well, just inside 50 metres. Ivulich has actually gone back on the mark.
Still need to be a good kick, Wally.
Yes, but he has this light southerly breeze, southwesterly breeze favouring him. It's a very fluky breeze. That hasn't quite got the distance. Edwards is in the centre of the pack. This time, though, Wosley is able to get his hand to it. And Edwards must have copped one in there, I think. He's getting up very ruefully and holding his face. There's the situation in the other games. East Perth just in front of Claremont. Swan Districts have jumped Subiaco, and Perth are leading East Fremantle. Big pack milling at centre half back. Now they break, and they actually break back towards the centre. The idea, I think, is for Dukowicz to run off Hines. Irving is there to hold him up, and Irving has got support through Matera. So it's backfired on West Perth. Collins again. Geez, had numerous kicks in this first quarter, and Mifka takes a clever mark. Dukowicz, oh, gee. He's such a good aerialist. That's a bad mistake, and it's let Souths in. Matera's there. Tuvey and Simmons. Painter. West Perth just can't get the ball clear. Matera. A lot of pressure in there. Painter, they need a kick. That's holding the ball. He had the chance to get rid of it. Chose not to. And has been given the benefit of the doubt again.
Wally, you called West Perth, can't get the ball clear. Neither could South Fremantle, and both sides putting plenty of pressure on one another and really finding one another out. And so, you know, there's going to be a few players that are really going to be asked the questions this afternoon.
Good knock there to the side of the pack, but West Perth can bring it away again. Simmons has it. Now Mifka, no one to kick it to.
No right foot, Wally.
Ditchley gets the hand pass to Clancy. Clancy's kick is a shocker. Comes off Herneman's legs and gives Harris a chance. Good hand pass to Tuvey. They're running out of time. They need a mark. Freeman has given them one, or has taken one for them. 30 minutes have gone in this first quarter. It won't be a particularly long quarter. Only 6 goals kicked in aggregate. So this could well be the last scoring shot of the term. Freeman has kicked 1 goal so far from just inside 50 metres. That's a superb kick from Freeman. West Perth are in front by 5 points. West Perth are 4-2, Souths are 3-3.
Well, there we see West Perth getting getting maximum result for their effort there. There's a good build-up. We said it was tight there. Both South and West Perth couldn't get the ball away, but then West Perth were able to break away with good, clever use of handball and great foot passing, and finally finished off by the spearhead Freeman kicking a great goal from just on 50 metres. So West Perth are really taking the challenge up to South.
Can't be much time left in this first quarter as Irving wins it towards centre half forward. Clancy gets it towards Mifka. Mifka pulled off the ball. Hines is there. West Perth have to work hard here. They don't want to give this lead away. It's only a small lead, but it would be demoralising for them if they were to sacrifice it. As the kick from Edwards goes towards half forward. And there's the siren for quarter time here at Leederville Oval. A terrific opening quarter. And in particular from West Perth, who are lamenting at the bottom of the table. They're playing the team that are second on the table and that are being touted as a premiership combination, and West Perth are in front. There it is, 4-2 to 3-3. The Falcons lead by 5 points. Let's just check the goal scorers so far in the game. Firstly, for West Perth, Freeman playing at centre, at full forward, has 2. West has 1 and Zemplis has 1. The goal scorers for South Fremantle, 2 to Craig Edwards at full forward and 1 to David Hines, who has started the game at centre half forward. So it's 4-2 to 3-3 here at Leederville Oval. Let's have a look at what's happening in the other games. East Perth playing Claremont, and a very important game as far as East Perth are concerned, but they only just have their noses in front at the moment. Swan District's playing Subiaco, again a very important game, and Swans have jumped Subiaco. They're leading quite comfortably there, as you can see. And Perth, every game is important for them, and they're up against the league leaders this afternoon. They lead 2 goals to East Fremantle yet to score, so a good start by Perth. So that's the situation around the metropolitan area this afternoon. As I've said, some very important games, and at this stage, some very interesting scorelines. Here at Leederville, it's West Perth 4-2, South Fremantle 3-3. For his comments on the first quarter and his better players, Noel Carter.
Well, the game has really opened up with West Perth really taking the challenge up to South. The first quarter's been very, very hard, very tough. Nothing spiteful. Both sides have gone in hard, but I think West Perth have been that side that wanted to go a little bit harder. They've had a good run from their midfield players. They've kicked the ball well into the forward line. The breeze is no factor this afternoon. Both sides are equally served either end, and I think that it's the side that's really set their mind to win this game that's going to win it, because there's no advantages anywhere across the field, only in the players' attitude towards the ball, and that's what's got West Perth in front, 5 points in front at this stage. Has been their willingness to make that second and third effort, and some of their players have really backed up well. They've run the ball, they've kicked it long down the corridor. They've mainly used the corridor, and then once they've got rid of the ball, whether it's by hand or by foot, they've been willing to run on, and as the players run past, they've honoured him with the handball, and they've really created and set up the play. On the other hand, I mean, South haven't been that bad themselves. It's just that West Perth have outplayed them. We see on the highlights here now Paul Mifka taking a very good one-handed mark running backwards into his back line, but he's been a very good player for the side, 150 games today. So, you know, West Perth have got something to hang their hat on today, and I think that might be putting in a big effort, the boys, for West Perth boys, for Paul Mifka. But some of the better players, I think, well, there's no one better in this quarter than Robbie West for West Perth. He's continually driven the ball forward, and on the end of it, most of the times has been Freeman, Peter Freeman at full forward. Whilst he's only kicked 2 goals, but he's been lively. He's given them somewhere to kick to. Del Barello's been busy around the pack, as is Darren Harris, and also Dukowitz at centre half back on David Hines has lowered his colours, especially early in the quarter. Hines got away and kicked a goal later on in the quarter, but Dukowitz has been that attacking centre half back, and Tooby has been busy across the middle, and Paul Mifka, as I mentioned, in his 150th game, very good across the half back line. Well, for South, Mark Collins started the quarter very well and finished off his work by kicking long into the forward line where Craig Edwards was there. Craig's kicked 2 goals, should have kicked 3, but hasn't had a big influence on the game. Wayne Herneman's been very strong for South across the half-back line. His kicking let him down occasionally when he's been looking for a player. And the only other player I thought that's really put in solidly was Marty Atkins at centre half-back.
So comments and best players there from Noel Carter. A terrific first quarter. West Perth 4-2 leads Souths 3-3 as Jeff Gieschen, the West Perth coach, leaves the field. And I'm sure he would be very happy with what he saw from his team in that first quarter. Malcolm Brown spoke long and hard to his players at quarter time. West Perth, their huddle broke up a lot more quickly, indicating, I would think, the coach's satisfaction with what they've done during the first term. And Brown obviously had a lot to say to South Fremantle. In fact, we'll find out exactly what those coaches did have to say because Tanya Armstrong's with us on the boundary line.
Thanks very much, Wally. Jeff Gieschen fairly happy with that quarter naturally. He's moved Basil Zemplis back to centre half forward and he wants them to head for goals on the scoreboard wing. He said that's where most of South Fremantle's goals came from that quarter. And he says don't relax, and if we keep the pressure on we could crack South Fremantle by half time. Mel Brown, he's not all that worried about that quarter. He said they're not applying enough pressure and kick long into the forward line with the breeze this quarter.
Good, thanks Tanya. Comments there from Tanya Armstrong. And West Perth start the second term with the aid of a light southerly breeze and a 5-point lead as Irving gets possession. He gets it across to Matera. Matera hooks the ball down towards centre half forward. Painter down there with Flugie. Chance for Campbell. He was claimed from behind. Another chance for South. Mazurek has it 25 metres from goal, but he's offline. And so West Perth maintain their lead.
A disappointing miss there by Mazurek because it was a good build-up. And what I was saying at quarter time about West Perth, how their players made second and third efforts. There we saw South make a second and third effort. They had a player in trouble, one player running past, another one on the backup. So they really did help one another out, and Mazurek couldn't quite finish the goal off. But here we see that huddle again, Wally, and it looks like it's a university degree to work this one out.
Noel, I tell you what I think they're doing, Noel. That huddle is forming inside centre half forward, and then one player breaks to the back and runs into the centre square, and it was West who did that. Djukowicz in turn has been told to run, and as a result they have the ball at centre half forward, and Edwards almost took the mark. Fimino comes in and is claimed by Simmons. That gives Buick, that gives West Perth the chance to tie it up. The kick from Ivalich is just offline. It wasn't Ivalich. It was Edwards. No, it wasn't Edwards either.
Yeah,
it was Ivalich, I'm sorry, who had that shot on goal. But that's what they're doing back there.
It's a little bit like run and stun, isn't it? It's a bit like basketball. It certainly worked on that occasion.
And it worked in that first quarter when West kicked a very long goal. So they're playing to a very definite plan at that kick-in. The pack is actually forming only about 35 to 40 metres from goal, and the fullback can kick well beyond that. And one player, it's been Djukowicz previously, but it was West then, breaks towards the centre circle, and the fullback kicks long, and so far it's worked. They've been able to race the ball straight down the other end through the centre of the ground.
Well, I think the most important thing about it is with this club like West Perth and where they're positioned, if they've got a plan and they've got something to work at and they stick at it and it starts working, then it gives them the confidence to do other things, and their flair comes out after that. So, I think that's the strength of it at this stage.
Grant making better position, but again, you would have to say the kick wasn't a good one. Freeman was coming out in front of Grant, and it cleared his head. So West Perth's disposal has let them down a little bit going forward because Freeman is offering the lead. This is Mazurek now on the end of the Collins kick. He goes through the centre of the ground, kicks high to centre half forward. That's not a particularly good kick. Campbell showed best judgment. Hines gets possession at ground level, sends it into Mazurek, who tried to do a little too much. Chance now for West Perth to tie it up. The ball spills clear. Tooby is a chance. He didn't take it the first time. Mazurek knocks it on to accommodate Matera. Matera goes back to Hines. He tried to break through Harris. Mazurek has it back to Matera again. His kick is a little too high, and a good mark taken by Mifka. He's got a player loose in the centre of the ground, Del Barello. And away go West Perth again. They're cracking South Fremantle open at the back of the pack. That was a shocking kick to Freeman again. Atkins is caught by Zemplis. That could have been holding the ball. In comes Freeman. There's a player in the square. They can't get it to him. Brilliant smother down there by the South defence. I think it was Grant, and that's allowed South Fremantle to run the ball away. The Collard brothers combined to put it out onto centre wing, and now South can set something up themselves. Pobjoy's on the ground. He kicks towards centre half forward. Hines is spoiled by Dukowicz. Down he goes, head down, bottom up, and he keeps going and applies the tackle. That was good, strong football by Dukowicz, able to tie it up when South's had the numbers.
Well, gee, West Perth looked good when they ran forward. They got that loose man, Del Borello, in the centre there, but I tell you what, it can cause you a lot of problems the other way too. If
they come back.
My word, it does. I mean, when the confidence is up and the team's running, it's good, but here we see South going to attack now. Wally Matera, handball from Campbell there. They're the goals that Wally normally kicks and should have kicked, and he'd be disappointed in that result because that was a good build-up and good use of the handball by Warren Campbell.
Well, you'd have to be critical at this stage, Noel, at the other end of the ground of West Perth's foot passing, particularly to Freeman.
Yes, well, he's going to get quite annoyed because he does make good position, and the couple of times I've used him, he showed he can kick goals.
Here they go again. Nelson is loose in the centre of the ground. Long kick. This time Freeman opts to stay at the back, and Zemplis comes across the front. Well, that might be a worthwhile ploy.
And Grant's going cook because he reckoned the other guy was holding him.
Well, the umpire didn't see it, nor did I. In fact, I think Grant might have infringed himself. He seemed to pull Freeman out. Basil Zemplis.
Something right out of vogue, isn't he?
Yes, it's a little bit different for a league footballer, that hairstyle, but he's taken one good mark and kicked a good goal at the opposite end of the ground, and he can repeat the dose here. This would give West Perth a little break on the scoreboard. It's a good kick. Zemplis has got his second. West Perth have their fifth. They're 5-3. Souths are 3-5.
Well, once again, West Perth were able to break through the centre and get free. Robbie West, we see him here, got that ball to Mifka. They use good use of the ball. Now, Mifka centred the ball, and that's the good thing about it. We've talked about it time and time again, how clubs have got to play that corridor. And Nelson was right in the middle, was able to push that ball right through centre half forward to about 25 metres out, and Zemplis took a good mark. And there we see Gieschen with Clinton Farmer next to him studying the game. He'd be quite pleased with his charges at this stage because
he'd be holding his breath, wouldn't he? Wondering how long they could sustain it.
Well, he should be bathed in this because it's been good football by West Perth.
Here's West again on the half forward line, puts it out in front of Buick. If it'll set, he's quick. He's pulled off off the possession. Herneman's hand pass has gone astray. West Perth still in control. This is Edwards who gets it to West. He goes back on goal, but he's missed to the right.
Well, he did a good job to get through there. He threaded himself through there like a good seamstress, but thread a needle and was able to have a shot for goal, but couldn't quite bring up the major score. But West Perth are really putting a heap of pressure on South at this stage, and it'll be interesting to see how they hold up their back line.
And now Dunstan's tried the West Perth ploy. He's gone back to the centre circle. The problem is Grant can't kick that far. This is Herneman now. Chips it out in front of Matera. Through comes Mifka. It was well played. He just lost control at the crucial moment. Wasn't able to get his kick in. But again, it looked as though Souths might be able to set something up from that centre wing.
Well, it certainly
Mifka was able to spoil that.
Mifka's certainly been inspired today by his 150th game, and his form was good last week, and he's carried it on again this week. So obviously got some run back in those experienced legs of his.
Terrific knock there by Irving, who got it to Herneman. Chance for West Perth again now. Dukowicz with good vision gives it to Del Borello. Del Borello spears the pass to Freeman. That's better use this time. Freeman's got a chance. He did that well. He goes back on goal and has kicked it. West Perth are playing inspired football, and Freeman has kicked his third. And that was a much better kick, even though it didn't carry to him. It was out in front of him.
Well, whenever the ball's put out in front of you, you've always got a chance of running onto it. It's when it goes wide or long that puts you under pressure. But West Perth are really running this ball, and Del Borello's been very busy in that centre, and he's a good foot pass. Here you see the ball out in front of Freeman, which gives him a chance to run onto it. He was too good to get round Grant, gave him the slip quite easily, and was able to poke through a nice goal. And once again, West Perth are playing that ball through the centre. I don't want to harp on it, but I just think that's percentage football. And we saw South Fremantle against Swan Districts about 4 weeks ago when Swan Districts give them a bit of a hiding, and they did it because they ran. And here again today, West Perth are exploiting South by running.
Well, some changes have been forced on Souths now as Grant comes away from full-back and goes out onto the half-back flank. Souths get it to half-forward. Campbell is there. It's socked away by Mifka, but Campbell did well. Knocks it to Mazurek. Mazurek under pressure, kicks back towards centre half back, and it lands centre half forward. I'm sorry, and it lands with Del Barello. He wants to go. The instruction is obviously to run, as Noel Carter has mentioned. An opportunity for Clancy. He wasn't able to pick it up and got into an opponent's back. A former teammate's back in Herneman. Well, I've said before, perhaps they weren't teammates.
Well, they could have been in the reserves because the young Herneman did play a couple of games in the reserves last year, but played mostly.
Campbell! What a terrific mark by Warren Campbell.
Well, they need a lot more than that from the forwards.
The kick lacks depth. West Perth had the chance to clear it. Jurkovic went to ground at the crucial moment. Painter has it. Gets it wide, but there's no one out there. And all players are content to see it over the line. Here it is again.
Yes, a great mark there under a little bit of pressure, but was able to come up with it. The kick wasn't quite as good, but South need their forwards to assert some pressure on the back when they're not fighting hard enough. West Perth are after everything when it hits the ground, and South aren't hungry enough at this stage.
Flugie gets it to Santos Stefano. He's done well to keep that in play. Good defensive work by West Perth, but the ball is knocked away from Bartlett.
That was Dunstan, I think. Good pressure there. He knocked the ball out of his hand and kept it in right in South's forward line. And they've got to fight hard here. They've got to get a goal, or yes, well, they need a goal here to keep them right in this game.
The throw-in will take place at right full forward as Winner comes onto the ground for West Perth and Buick goes off. West Perth lead by 17 points. They've made a very good start to this second quarter. In fact, they've made a good start to the game. Collard went without it, and West Perth are not going to surrender this game easily now, one suspects, as Wosley gets a clearing kick to half-back. Del Barello took that brilliantly. He hasn't got the ball.
Yes, good call, Wally. Good call.
The trip is paid, but he didn't ever have control of it. Oh, Nelson's loose at centre half-back. I'm not sure of the wisdom of that. Winner offers the lead. It's a good move now because Mifka was prepared to run hard. They need a kick, West Perth. It goes towards half-forward, and Freeman. That's a free kick too. Souths are getting a little untidy. Curley wanted to go. He's been told the ball must come back to Freeman. Perhaps, no, the mark couldn't have been paid. He never marked it.
No, well, Bolton's got a little bit more pace in Grant, was able to keep up with him, but he was still behind, he's still infringed over.
Nelson's loose in the opposite pocket. That's the way the kick's gone. Has it got the carry? It didn't quite have the carry. Chance for West Perth to intercept things here.
Oh, good play.
That was Simmons who gets it to Edwards, and Edwards.
I think he's got
much urgency in the goal. The goal on fire. He wasn't very excited, but the goal is on the board. Simmons gets to his feet ruefully. He was taken as he got rid of the ball. Here's Freeman, and he's actually looking for Nelson.
Yes, he went for Nelson, but he couldn't get enough power in the kick, and we see young Simmons get onto this ball very quickly. Here it is now. He's moved on, shot that out to Edwards. Bullet like hand pass. Simmons has moved on to Collins, who was a big mover for South in the first quarter, and he's quietened him down, and you see him got a good handball out there, and Edwards, the young Edwards, playing at centre half forward, was able to finish it off, and West Perth are looking real strong.
Well, if you've just joined us, you'd be a little confused as to which team is actually second on the premiership table. West Perth are 7-4, Souths are 3-5. Chance for South to go forward now. Collins to Flugie. They've been forced backwards, almost into the centre circle. Flugie uses his pace to make space, kicks towards centre half forward. Jurkovic was spoilt from behind. Tuvey wasn't able to get it away cleanly. Santos Stefano gets it to Brad Collard. This is Matera, and the lead comes down in the direction of full forward. It could have been a kick to South, but it wasn't paid. They're still under pressure. Campbell has it and was legged. They play on, and Herneman has kicked.
He's played all clear, so he's played the advantage.
Yes, it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. I can't understand why the advantage wasn't paid down here if it was paid up there. But anyway, Herneman has missed the shot with the shot on goal.
That was a little bit of a short jab there by Mifka. It wasn't a good clearing handball. Campbell under pressure. It was actually called for leg. The umpire did call somebody for legging him, but Herneman was able to swoop on that ball, and they played advantage, and he was able to kick that goal, and that was a much needed goal by South, who are trailing now by what's that, 17 points, Wally?
Yes, that's correct, and there's the situation in the other games, some close games at the moment. East Fremantle in front, Swans swamping Subi, and East Perth just in front of Claremont. Edwards is up on the ball to try and give South some momentum. This is Harris, he needs to offload. Kicks towards centre half forward. Edwards is in the best position. Should have marked that. And as a result of his inability to do so, Collard's able to break it up.
That's
Poor
a terrible
kick.
option. Terrible
Simmons
option.
the chance, but it was taken eventually by Matera. Now Flugie. Flugie towards centre-half forward, and Djukowicz takes the relieving mark. The ball jarring free as he's claimed by Grant. So Grant, who started at full-back, has been swung to the opposite end of the ground.
I think he's actually at centre-half forward on Djukowicz and Campbell on the flank.
Short kick has found Tuvey. And Djukowicz has run away from the defence again. He's inside the centre square. Horrible kick. Curley couldn't take it, but Harris can. And now Harris goes towards centre-half forward. Edwards is there. And that's a good defensive mark by the big ruckman. Well, that's the position he's playing at the moment. Collard kicks towards centre wing. Mifka's overrun it. Going back with the ball is Simmons. He's done well. Gets the hand pass to West. West gets an unnecessary hand pass off in the direction of Mifka. They wouldn't want to overdo this hand passing. They had the chance to kick it then as Mazurek goes to the outer wing and Collins takes the mark. Now Matera. Matera from half forward flank kicks in towards centre half forward, and it's taken by Grant.
If anybody's lifted their game for South in this quarter, it's been Wally Matera. He's been the only player that's lifted their rating up, and some of them really have to pull their socks up at this stage. And they are not looking like a playoffs contender, if you want to call them, Wally, at this stage.
So Grant will shoot from the 50-metre line. It's a good kick too. It's going to go very close. Irving is in the pack. Nelson over the top, and West Perth have the numbers at the front. This is Painter. He clears the ball. That's a terrible kick.
Oh.
It was intended for Clancy, but it was an A-grade bounce as far as West Perth were concerned. Simmons just can't pick it up, nor can he get it clear. Flugie did well. It's taken now by Collard. Edwards is loose in the centre of the ground. He'll have to hurry. He gets the kick towards centre half forward. Going back was Wasley. He wasn't totally committed. The hand pass goes wide. Claimed by Painter. Across it goes to Curley. Nelson is loose on half-back flank left. He takes will take a comfortable mark and should go across the top to Tuvey. Tuvey moves towards the centre wing. West Perth can mount another attack here. Out comes Freeman, but the kick's a shocker again. That's poor kicking by West Perth, and it's taken away by Atkins. Freeman was caught under the ball again. The kick comes towards the members' wing and goes out of play. Gee, if only they'd capitalised on their forward moves.
But I like the way that they defend to the half-back line, and then as soon as they get to the half-back line, they head for a beeline towards centre-half forward through that corridor, which is really good play. Just unfortunate that they just can't get someone on the end of some of those passes. There's a bit of strong defence there from Nick Bolton, and we've come to expect that from him over the season. He doesn't give too much away.
Ivalich with the free kick. Freeman was pushed out of it, surely. Oh, heavens above. South's being forced to defend desperately at the moment. Atkins was very lucky not to be penalised. I think he paid the free kick.
That was the pressure that Bolton put on Ivalich.
So the bounce down is 45 metres out from West Perth's goal. It's 7-4 to 4-5. Harris has it. He gets it to West. West to Curley. Curley goes infield with a good hand pass to Clancy. He's just outside 50. Shocking kick, but the bounce will be important. It will be more important now, but it's set up nicely for Atkins. And, oh, heavens above, that bounce was important. But it came back to Atkins, and he clears the ball well to Collins. Collins is at left half back. He's getting more desperate opposition now from Simmons on that wing. Collard runs across the centre line. Kick short. Wasn't a good kick. Grant couldn't pick it up. Nor can Santos Stefano. Coming through as Painter. He did that pretty well. He didn't realise how much time he had. And West Perth clear it through Clancy.
Well, the South Fremantle half-forward line is very soft at the moment.
Edwards was being held.
They're not fighting hard enough.
His jumper was at full stretch. Herneman showed some courage. Going back with the ball is Bolton. He's cornered. Gets the hand pass to Flugie. Flugie was tackled by Harris. He's a solid tackler, Harris, too. And West Perth have another chance. It's with Zemplis. Turley took too long. Play allowed to go on as it's socked away by Hines. Herneman's hand pass goes to Cliff Collard. This game is being played at a frantic pace, and that's holding the ball. Collard was unlucky.
He was unlucky. He slipped as he went to take off, but that was the pressure that West Perth have been able to put on their South Fremantle counterparts.
Santos Stefano is off, and Spinks is on. Painter has the ball. Short kick has found Nelson.
Well, Craig Edwards might have moved onto the ball, but he's moved right away from Nelson. He hasn't bothered to pick him up at all.
Hines has gone from centre half forward to a back pocket to hold Zemplis. West has the mark, and Collard, who's marking West this afternoon, is standing on the 50-metre line. Robbie West has kicked one goal. It was a beauty too. Went from full-back to the 50-metre line without a South Fremantle player touching it, and West kicked the goal. This time he hasn't quite got the distance, and Edwards, who's doing some good work for South since he went onto the ball, takes the mark.
He might be doing good work for South, but for mine, he's leaving Nelson too much latitude, and he has dictated the way that West Perth have gone into their forward line on numerous occasions. Comment from Noel Carter. That was well played by Simmons to Mifka, now to Harris. Harris with a good hand pass to Clancy, who's getting into the game. Clancy kicks to centre half forward, shocking kick. Cliff Collard couldn't quite pick it up. Mazurek working well back in defence, clears towards the centre half back position, and Clancy takes the mark again. Curley is loose, and now Ivalich is loose, but Curley would be well advised to have a shot. They actually... Those two be Teal Cup teammates, wouldn't they? Curley and Bolton? Yes, it would have. I don't know. Was it the same year? It probably was. He got close to the man on the mark, but it's a terrific kick by Todd Curley. Has it got the distance? No. And neither was it a mark. Well, Fimino has it now. Zemplis is off after him. Fimino clears the ball towards the half-back flank. It was intended for Collins, and he'll be happy to see it go out, because not only was Simmons there with him, but Simmons had support. Well, West Perth are really hammering this ball forward, and they're constantly putting the South backmen under pressure, and when South do go forward, they're very, very soft across the half-forward line, and that's probably why they've brought Spinks on to try and add some bite across there. Here's a chance for West Perth again. This is Simmons. He's 50 metres out. There's no one in the square, but the kick is ill-directed, and it's taken through. No, it stayed in. Good tackle. Oh, that was desperate stuff by Ivalich. He's outnumbered 3-1, but he's not going to give in as Hines clears it around the members' side of the ground. Popjoy at full stretch missed it, but he's cornered Curley. The kick goes back towards the centre line. West takes the mark. Clancy is loose in the centre square. That's Harris, I'm sorry, not Clancy. And he's run into trouble. Now he gets away from the pursuers and kicks towards full forward. And Zemplis has taken another mark. Well, I tell you what West Perth have done very well today, Noel. They've got all their big men on the ground. They don't have a great number of them, but they're all out there and they're all showing a bit. Yes, they are, and they're presenting themselves very well. And the little fellas are doing the right thing, pushing that ball forward. And I don't know where David Hines got to that stage, but it would end up Mazurek trying to put pressure on Zemplis to try and force that error there. Hines nowhere to be seen. As I said, South are struggling to get that ball over the centre line now. Well, we've been critical, perhaps not critical is not the word, but we've commented in our previous games when we've had, on the previous occasions when we've had West Perth, on their lack of height. But today they've got Wosley out there playing at full back. They've got Zemplis on the ground, Freeman at full forward. As Zemplis lines up for his third, and I think he's kicked it. This is the biggest margin of the game so far now. West Perth are 8-4, Souths are 4-5. And just added to those big men you're talking about, they haven't got Derek Hall out here today either. Right. And we see Robbie West on the end of everything here. Found Darren Harris. Now, Darren Harris, since we've seen him last, has fined down somewhat. I think that, those heavy grounds in the Wodonga area where he comes from tends to make you a little bit heavy around the backside and the legs, but these hard grounds would have jarred a little bit of that excess loose, and he looks a much trimmer and quicker player at this stage of the season. So West Perth in a reasonably strong position now. They lead by 23 points. Oh, strong and play. Painter has taken a good mark. Their confidence is growing, or it has grown, Wally, and they're doing things, early in the season when things are going bad, those marks don't fall in your hands, but when you're having a good day, the ball bounces for you. Souths have the numbers out there, 3-1. I think he was legged there. Yes, and they're called to play on as Edwards takes it, puts it up onto the 50-metre line. That was a half volley. The umpire realised that. Matera now, he's only 40 metres from goal. An important kick for South. Back it goes. It's a good kick too, but it's just missed. Well, there was plenty of body work used there by all the South players. It was a good shepherd for the player putting pressure on Wally Matera. Let's just see what happens at this kick-in. The kick will be taken by Bartlett. The pack is milling inside the 50-metre line. And some players run in even shorter than that. Here he goes for distance, back into vacant territory, but Collard worked it out.
That was brilliantly worked out by Collard.
Well, it only took them 3 goes to work it out, Wally, which is not bad.
No, it's not really. I mean, they're under pressure out there and they don't have the bird's eye view that we do from up here. And Souths will get a free kick out of this.
Yeah, that was a little bit untimely there by West Perth.
It's going to be taken by Grant at left full forward. So I wonder if Jeff Gieschen has any alternatives. It's the big question now, because they've worked out what he's been doing at those kick-ins. Here he is, explaining what plan B is, as Grant lines up for a very important kick from left full forward, and I think he's missed. So Souths can't buy a goal at the moment. They move to 4 goals 7. West Perth are 8 goals 4. Thank heavens Trevor Jenkins is not here.
Oh, wouldn't it just be shocking?
I wonder if it's significant. No, the kick back into play will be taken by Bartlett. They've tried it again, and Jurkowicz has got the sit at the back this time. He's got the ball too, but he didn't really want it at that stage. Simmons, his hand pass was not good. West Perth still with the numbers around the ball, and there's a player loose on centre wing. Del Barello kicks to Mifka. Mifka's away. Mifka is the cry. Took a long time to get rid of it. Gets it down towards the half-forward line. Zemplis wasn't able to take the mark. Souths can break it up. Mazurek's hand pass goes to Herneman. Herneman from half-back runs his full distance and kicks to centre half-forward. It's all West Perth.
No talk.
Yes, one of them should have taken the mark. Nelson is there. Dunstan went to ground. Souths have the numbers. It's Campbell's hand pass has gone to Flugie. He was met by Harris. Flugie recovered best. Chance for Simmons at the back. Good hand pass goes to Del Barello. Oh, heavens above, they've made a mess of it. They did all the hard work. Del Barello knocks it clear, but only as far as Matera. Matera's back in the centre square. This is Mazurek. He kicks down towards full forward, and Dunstan will mark.
Yes, good vision there by Mazurek.
Bad mistake by Del Barello.
Yes, it was.
So,
but everything's been running well for them, and they're trying everything, and most of the things are coming off, and that's given them a lot of confidence. And while they continue to be successful at that, Wally, I think it's the best way to go.
So Dunstan, who failed to kick a goal last week and hasn't kicked one so far this afternoon, will shoot from about 35, 40 metres out on a fairly acute angle. It's a good kick. And didn't Souths need that?
Well, they did, and it was the first time that they've been able to go into the forward with some sort of composure there. Craig Edwards putting a lot of pressure on Del Barello after he'd muffed that ball. Now, Wally Matera, as I mentioned before, has probably been the only leading light for South in this quarter, but Mazurek was able to weigh that kick up really well to Dunstan, and that was good use of the ball, and that's a good goal from that pocket. Very hard to score from that pocket here at West Perth, and that's a well-deserved goal for South after plenty of perseverance, but they'll need 2 or 3 more.
Only 15 minutes only 15 minutes. Only 15 points the difference, and we're into time on in this second quarter as Del Barello gets the ball wide of the pack, but that wasn't much use for West Perth. It's taken by Spinks, who's pushed off the kick. He could have got a push in the back, but he won't. It's not usually paid.
Well, it should have been a push in the back. But these umpires have done a good job today. I mean, that's one of the only errors that they've made, and they've been quite good. They've been very inconspicuous, which means that they're doing a good job.
The clearing kick from Bartlett gets to centre wing, taken by Harris. Here's Del Barello again. He's having a horror patch at the moment. That was Tooby who went without it. No, it wasn't. It was Winner. Mazurek is caught. Another chance for West Perth. West sends the hand pass ahead of Del Barello. There's a loose man up the ground. That's Simmons. Buick is back on the ground. Buick went without it the first time too, and that now has given Souths a chance. West Perth making mistakes at crucial moments here. Irving has it. He gets it to Firmino. Firmino gets it to Popjoy. Popjoy from half-back looks towards the centre half-forward position. Good kick too. Dunstan in front. Strong mark, and he can go, but opts not to. Now he goes. He gets the clearing kick. Well, it's an attacking kick towards centre half-forward. Chance at the front of the pack for West Perth. Through comes Bartlett from the defensive side of the square. He drives to centre half-forward. Chance at the back for Edwards. Brilliant pick-up. The ball was spinning awkwardly, but a shocking kick. So West Perth have just lost their composure a little at the moment. They're making a few ball handling errors and not disposing of the ball as they need to if they're going to maintain this pressure on Souths. Souths bring it back into play. Hines kicks towards the outer side of the ground and Atkins takes a good mark. Freeman couldn't get there. Collard is loose. Brad Collard. Kick towards centre-half forward is a shocker, and here's another mistake. Mifka misses an easy mark. He's got the skill to get rid of the tackler, but kicks it straight to Matera. Matera kicks to half forward. That should be a free kick to West Perth. It is, and it's Bartlett who'll get it. So mistakes creeping into the game now. Maybe West Perth are getting tired. Nelson kicks towards centre wing. They have possession, but they don't have much time. Harris has it, sends the hand pass to Simmons, who's fought back strongly. This is Harris again. Good support. They can get the ball into a scoring position here. Freeman breaks free, goes on goal. That's a prodigious kick.
Well, it's a great
Went
kick.
right over the post. Maybe
A great kick for a one step and kick. I mean, that's a walk-up start. That was a tremendous effort.
So Souths are 5-7, West Perth are 8-6, and the margin is back to 17 points. Atkins got an unkind bounce. West couldn't pick it up. Popjoy will. No, he chooses to knock it along the boundary line, and it just about stayed in. Souths made 5 metres out of that.
Little criticism there of South. Atkins got an unkind bounce, but he's got a couple of unkind teammates. He didn't have, none of them came over to give him a hand. I mean, he was doing all the work himself. Now, I don't know what the little fellas expect those big guys to do. All their work for them. They must get there with them.
It's half-time at Leederville Oval. It was a terrific half of football, particularly by West Perth, but Souths played well. Just as West Perth played a little bit better. They're 8-6, Souths are 5-7. The margin at half-time is 17 points in favour of the Falcons. The big question is, can they sustain it? Well, let's check the goal scorers so far in this game. Firstly, for West Perth, only 4 players have kicked goals. Zemplis has 3 and Freeman has 3. And that's been a potent duo down there in that full forward line. Their other 2 goals have been kicked by West and Edwards. For South Fremantle, 2 to Craig Edwards, 1 to Hines, and 1 to Dunstan. And I've missed their last goal scorer. Have you got the 5th goal scorer there, Noel, for Souths? Thanks very much, Noel. Well,
yes,
we'll work
I've got
that
it here
out.
somewhere.
Line that up to 4. That's